Hey, we're here today with Miss
Hi.
Jillian.
Hello.
Hello, Jillian. Jillian and I have
Hello.
come together because Jillian's, well, what it is Jillian is a flatty, but things don't work for her in Australia with the stars. I mean, I have a feeling, and then Jillian's going to talk, that we're living, supposedly, if you look at the UN map, they're using a star map. So that's why Jillian doesn't see what we see, because UK's in the middle, Jillian's in one of the legs. She ain't going to see what we see. But that's my thoughts. Jillian, what have you been trying to do lately? Who have you been trying to have a hangout with?
Deep inside the rabbit hole, Dave.
And explain what he did then. What did he do? He announced.
Well, yes, I've been watching a few videos lately, and he's been saying that if you can present him with one globe proof, he will give you 3 bitcoins.
Just to
And
explain to
so I thought,
everybody, she's not a globie, but she thinks she's found a bit of a, what do you call it, a crack?
a problem. I have a problem with, yes,
But
that
I
I
think
just
that's
can't find an
because
answer for.
everybody like you, so that's South America, South Africa, the Pitcairn Islands, and you will all have the same problem because you're in the legs of the star. But carry on, Jillian.
Yeah, well, I can show you where I am. No, this is not a realistic map, but it's just to show you. So I'm in Australia. So I'll come a bit closer. So I'm about halfway up the side here in Brisbane. So that's where I am, where I've been shooting the stars from.
I
Just
thought you were the other side, Jillian.
Nope, I'm on the east coast.
The left side.
No, the right side.
Oh, okay, that's turned round a bit because it's looking from a different angle, yeah?
Oh yeah, because you probably look from upside down. I don't know. No, you present. No, it's still. I don't know.
Anyway, all right, carry on then. Yeah, so that's where you are, and you've been, as we know, Jillian's a very clever woman, aren't you, Jillian? You are. I'm sorry.
No, I wouldn't call myself
Yes,
that.
you are. Jillian's very clever. She goes, I mean,
No.
Jillian has like been ill in the past, recovered from her illness. She can't see very well, which takes her camera out, and she just goes mad with her camera, don't you? Her P900.
Yes. Well, yeah, and that's my problem, is that what I'm photographing doesn't match what I'm being told. And so
But you said, didn't you, as well, that when you went to look up information about the stars and everything, all you've got is the west, like the what do you call it? You're in the southern hemisphere, so you get all the information for the northern
well, you're not allowed
hemisphere,
to say
and you can't
hemisphere,
get
the
much.
northern skies, I call them, and
Yeah, okay.
southern
But you
skies.
don't get much for Australia, do you?
Don't get much of what?
Well, you don't get much information for being in the southern hemisphere like you do for the
Well,
northern
everything's
hemisphere.
about, the summer solstice is about the north, and yeah, so we have to actually flip it. But even then, it doesn't match up all the dates and everything.
So tell me what you
That's
did
another
with
story.
DITCHR then. Tell me what you did with DITCHR.
Well, I just wanted to do a little quick explanation about myself because nobody knows me, and because of my sight, it kind of affects everything, and so I just wanted to do a quick explanation on that. So that should only, oops, don't want to go there. That should only take about 5-10 minutes at the most. It's just
Sure.
So, in 2012, I had cluster migraines, and it resulted in multiple strokes. And so when I woke up, my sight was shattered, and sort of that's what everybody looked like. Nothing had an edge. Everything sort of merged into each other. It's not so bad now. It's probably a smaller patch now, just about that big. That's the first one. And then what it's called is a paracentral scotoma, and it's nice. So I can't read very well, and I'll tell you why. But can you read that probably quicker than I can?
A paracentral scotoma is an island of relative or absolute vision loss within 10% of fixation, loss of nerve fibers from the inferior pole originating from the, what is that,
Yeah.
inferotemporal retina, resulted in the superonosal scotoma
Yeah.
shown. Oh my God. Thank you, Jillian.
I know. I didn't realize that actually all that end bit was there. Sorry about that.
I probably read all that wrong and everybody be going, no, Karen, she said it all wrong. But anyway.
So basically, there's like this blind spot in my vision where it just sort of, it's all pixelated, and then everything sort of goes around it. So it makes it hard to see. And if I try and read, it's all sort of shattered, and then there's just kind of like a couple of letters in the middle that I can read at a time. So
that's what it looks like for you, like you're showing right now. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, my peripheral vision's fine, so around the edges I can see, and this pixelated patch it's shrunk quite a bit, but I just can't quite get rid of it.
I'm very proud of you though for healing yourself.
Thank you. And if I look through that pixelated area, or that nothingness, that hole that they had, there's not really nothing there. It's like a kaleidoscope made up of the last things that I looked at. And they're kind of really iridescent, and they move, they're never still. And so that's all over people's faces now, so because I'm trying to look through it. But anyway, that's another topic, so I didn't want to stay on that too long. But I did have some other cool pictures.
Thanks for explaining that to us, Jillian.
That's okay. So this is the the damage that I have in my brain because of the strokes. So most of it's at the back of my head.
But also, just to explain to people, not only did you get all this, you nearly died, didn't you?
Well, yeah, apparently. Yeah, well, anyone can die when they have massive strokes. So, but I just didn't realize for a few years, so that kind of spun me out a bit when I found out. So, so these are just some pictures. And this is probably the worst.
We have done a video about your scans before, haven't we?
Yeah, I've got a couple of videos up. That's a pretty big, it's like a black hole. So like, I've got black holes in my eyes, I've got black in my sight, black holes in my head.
Are they still there, Jillian, or were they taken years ago?
I don't know. I can't get back in to see anybody to get any more scans. And see, I have some at the front too, which is kind of, that affected memory and my vocabulary. And I had that no little voice inside my head for a while, which was nice. And so now they just show you the same thing in white. So I just assume that anything that doesn't match on the opposite side is probably not meant to be there. I mean, I think I've healed quite a bit. Just, I can't get the last of my sight back.
Not being horrible. Do you think that's a little bit to do with age as well? As we get older, our eyesight starts going, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's different though. You know, I have to have glasses to read, but that has nothing to do with the brain injury, because you can make things bigger and it doesn't take away the shattered area.
Right.
Okay, so.
And then, because nothing works out for Jillian.
So we'll go back to the. I'm going to be careful of words that I say because you don't want to get flagged. So.
He's got a big finger, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, I was hoping to get an interview with Dave, but he asked me to make a video first. So. My equipment's not working, so that's why I've asked Karen to help me. So thank you very much for Karen, helping with that, Karen. And I just want to say that my views don't necessarily represent the views of this channel, so please don't send her any hate mail.
Oh, Jillian. The most important thing is that you're a flatty. We have slightly different opinions. We all do, don't we? But you just wanted to try and explain it more, didn't you? You just wanted to put it down on a video so that you could, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say at the start that I'm a flatty, and I do not believe that I'm hanging upside down on a spinning ball here in Australia, flying through space. I'm not here to disprove the flatty world. Well, is that what I call it?
Yeah, call it flatty. I don't think they mind that word as much as the other ones. So just say flatty for now.
Okay, so I'm not here to disprove the flatty world. I'm here to take Dave up on his offer, on his challenge, to provide one globe proof, I guess irrefutable, and take the 3 bitcoins that he so generously has on offer. And I think I have the proof with my star trails or star tracking. So sorry if I'm a bit slow. I'm just trying to read things that I've written so I can stay.
All right, Helen. We're okay. It's just you and me at the moment. So the chat room comes later. So if you want me to stop, I'll stop if you have to get things ready.
Okay.
Ever since I've known you, you've gone on about the stars being different, haven't you?
Yes. I mean, I've got a few questions for him, and then I've got a couple of short videos.
Sure.
So my first statement is that I understand that the stars do not necessarily prove the shape of the Earth, but would you agree that we can navigate across Earth using the stars? And that's actually called position fixation or fixing. Position fixing. I just looked it up tonight. So anyway, so my first question is, would you agree that we can navigate across the Earth using the stars? And if yes, do you agree that the land underneath the stars has to match up? It has to correlate.
Right.
So basically we can tell our any location on Earth from the stars above our head, which is position fixing. Okay, so that's that one. And then I was going to ask Dave to kind of show his version of flat Earth, but I've kind of got it. So on Dave's Sun and Moon app, and it's now the Sun, Moon, and I think the luminaries. I don't know if he has stars or whatever it's called. He has the North Pole at the center and Antarctica surrounding it. So inadvertently, that means that the southern stars have to go around the outside here, and Polaris would be in the middle.
Which you don't see, do you? You don't see Polaris.
No, I don't see that at all. I have a problem with that because that's not what I film when I see the stars. So I'll show you my 3 trails quickly. So I'll get out of that one actually. Okay, so this is the first one. All right, so here we've got the celestial equator, and with Orion's belt going through the middle. This is Betelgeuse and to the north, and this is the south. So I wanted to prove that there are 2 celestial star trails in the skies. There's not just Polaris, and that the southern stars do not rotate around Polaris. And so you can see clearly that they're going to the left, and over here they go to the right. And this is a celestial equator where they go very close to straight. And so this is just the same video over and over again. So I won't show it for too long because it's just that one. And, oh, did I miss one? Oops. Oh no, that's you. That's the one I just did. And again, you've got the celestial equator, north going anti-clockwise, south going clockwise.
Is that the moon? The moon's nearly in the middle.
Yeah, the moon only travels 23.4 4 degrees south, left of the moon, of the celestial equator, and 23.4 degrees to the right. So it only travels within this small patch here. And for 6 months of the year, it's in the southern hemisphere. So it just, every month it moves slowly backwards and forth. And then halfway during the year, it kind of flips and goes straight over to the other side and goes back and forth for 6 months.
What's the lines going on the right-hand side?
That's aeroplanes.
Right.
I live under a flight path. So I was going to... what else is on this? I think it's the same, yeah. Okay, all right, so we'll go to the next one. And this one is a collection of all 4 directions. So, and I think I do a little bit of in between as well. So I go north, south, east, west. Okay, hang on, I'll just mute this one.
Are you looking a different direction for that one?
No, this one's south. Unfortunately, I live near a city and I had to look over the city, so it's not very bright, even when I zoom in on the center, which doesn't have a pole star, I understand, but it's still a celestial pole. So this is another one that I've taken. Now I'm looking west. And this is another one looking west. In fact, most of them I do west because that's...
What's the green line, Jillian?
That was just reflection in my camera, so
right.
Not an alien. See, again, we've got the two, they're going both ways. The moon's going down the middle. So you can see I can zoom out enough to get enough of the sky that I can see both of them. So I understand Dave saying when you look north, they go one way, and when you look south, they go the other way. But then it's like our stars don't exist. That I'll show you that after. So again, we're still looking. I do most of them facing this direction, and I slowly start to turn. Now this is north, so I don't get a lot of. I can't see Polaris at all. My pole star is called Sigma Octantis, by the way. So now, like, that's curving to the north, and these are starting to curve to the south. But, turning around. So you can still see that there are definitely...
I think I remember Dave Marsh saying that in winter it's this side of the equator, and in the summer it's the other side or something, the moon. I can't remember now, it's years ago. We looked into quite a lot of stars and stuff.
Yeah, so again, you can see them starting to turn. These ones aren't. I'm pretty straight here because I've zoomed in. So some of them are zoomed in and some of them are pulled out far. I was more trying to work out what the moon was doing. I wasn't really so worried about the stars at that time. I was still learning which star was which. And I was still calling things incorrect names. Yeah. Oh, and that's
you get quite a lot of reflection, don't you, from the moon?
Yeah, the moon kind of really blows it out. So do clouds, that's clouds. Again, you've got that, you can see the two sides of the spiral, one going this way and one going that way. So I don't think there's, anyway. I don't know if you really want to see any more. But, oh, that's nearly the end anyway, so that's enough. Okay. So, all right. Do you want to stop it for a second? I'll just work out where I am.
Yeah, sure. One second. We're just going to stop for a moment while Jillian composes on.
Okay, so after showing those vids, my question is, do you dispute that there are two celestial poles above our heads, above Earth?
Right.
And another question I have is, do you dispute that there cannot be two celestial star poles next to each other in a linear plane, or on a linear plane, in a linear plane, whatever, without a convergence zone and whatever the opposite to that would be? And that's a word that we kind of made up, so I'll have to show you my drawings now to explain what I mean. So I've got a few drawings. This is, actually, if I go back one. So on Dave's model, with the North Pole being in the middle and the southern Antarctica being around the outside, it means you have the celestial equator would be here. Oh, no, hang on, he's got, all right, this would be the Tropic of Cancer, and this one would be the Tropic of Capricorn. And halfway between that is the celestial equator. And so where the stars...
Yeah, over you.
Yes. So the stars out here do not rotate around Polaris. And I showed that clearly, that they are rotating around their own pole. So unless there's one out here spinning around and moving or something, I just don't see how it works. I've been trying for a couple of years now, and, you know, your stars go anti-clockwise, mine go clockwise.
Do you know what that looks a little bit like? I was watching the flow of the winds, and they go left, right, a bit like that, but there's a couple more of them. But they do the same thing. One goes one way, one goes the other, one goes back the other. It's all like that.
Even if the stars were doing this, then my pole star that I just showed you, or my celestial pole, because there's no star in the middle of it, it would have to move around like with the other stars. And it doesn't move. There's no footage of it ever moving around. There's footage, I've got footage of the celestial equator, but they're not changing directions like that. But even so, if you go, oh, hang on, have I missed one? No. All right. Hang on, I'll just check my drawings. So, all right, I'll just go with what my drawings are. Well, this is what I'm understanding that Dave's saying, and well, they're not. That's just, it's not happening.
But if I just explain again, the southern hemisphere, which is the outer circle, on the star map has South Africa, well, half of South Africa, 3/4 of South America, obviously New Zealand and the Pitcairn Islands, which obviously aren't anywhere near you, but those are the legs of the star, and they're all in the southern hemisphere. And it's really strange, isn't it? Because they've made us believe that the southern hemisphere is somewhere else, but it's somewhere else after all.
Well, no, and this is what I see the skies doing, I see the stars doing. So the north stars go anti-clockwise and the southern stars go clockwise. Only for that to happen, there would have to be, and Earth would be underneath it, there would have to be this, what we call a convergence zone, where the stars would have to come together and then disappear off. And that's never been filmed. Like that's what it would kind of look like with the Earth underneath and the South Pole and the North Pole, unless you've got a bigger round thing. But then there's all this blank space where nothing happens, and there's no photos or footage of massive empty skies. This probably matches Dave's things. I might have got them in the wrong order. But yeah, so this is the inside going, this way, and the outside going that way. What have I got? There is no
No celestial pole.
Oh, thank you. Can't read my own writing. It's
Stars
terrible.
do not change direction on the equator.
No, they're both sort of, yeah, as you saw, they're side by side going the same direction, but then as they go out, one goes around this way and one goes around that way. I mean, it wasn't what I expected to see when I started filming the skies. I thought everything went around Polaris. I was expecting to see my stars go around. I'd never heard of a celestial equator. We were calling it the convergence zone. I had globies laughing at me. I'd go and ask the flatties what they thought, and they would just like, your stars aren't real. And it's like, well, they're a reflection, and it's like, well, how are the planets traveling through them if they're a reflection? So it's and then there's just no answer to it. But I know it's not. Our stars are not rotating around Polaris, and that's pretty much my claim. And so I think nothing else works. I've looked at a lot of videos. I've drawn lots of things. I've spoken to so many people. Nobody has a solution for the southern stars.
Yeah, if you imagine a
Something like this was the best we could come up with.
If you imagine a star with 4 legs, you're in one of the legs. And so I don't quite know how it works exactly, because I'm not a physicist and all that. But
that's another topic, and I just want to stay on this one for now. I'm
just saying the UN use that map, but that would mean that anybody that's in the southern hemisphere is just going to see everything so different.
So that's pretty much my presentation. Like I said, I'm not trying to prove flat Earth doesn't. The flatty world is not here. I just think that there is nothing else that's been able to explain the movement of the southern stars better than the globe version. And until there's one, well, and so I think I have completed his challenge of providing one globe truth, even though I don't like it and I don't want to be doing it. But my goals were to obviously try to gain 3 Bitcoin, but it was also to have the southern skies included in the flatties world, not to be ignored, really told that it's not happening or it's a reflection or just laughed at. It's like hanging out with the globies again. As long as we hanging upside down, the amount I get laughed at when I try to show my stars and movement, and the Earth doesn't dictate the shape of the sky, doesn't dictate the shape of the Earth. I mean, I get that. I have a pool table, round balls, rectangle, but it has to match. It has to correlate. It can't. It has to fit. So anyway, that's my presentation, and thank you, Dave, and I hope I wasn't too rude. Thank you, Karen, for hosting.
That's okay. Do you have any ideas what you think's going on? Because I know you're saying you want to stick to your subject. That's what we're doing. If you imagine that star map that the UN are using, it's got the Union Jack on the top of it, then anything in the southern hemisphere is not included in the Gleason or the other maps. They kind of only use 3/4 of the world. They don't use Australia because it doesn't fit on that bit. That's the southern. Anything in the southern hemisphere, it's not going to work.
I struggled to find a lot of the stuff that I had years ago. A lot of it's gone, but I do have 2 videos, but they still have faults. So people were trying. Obviously, my biggest conclusion is that the sky could be one shape and we're another shape. that it's more shapes than one, that it's a shape that we haven't got a word for or that I don't understand. I mean, even if you go for the flat earth model where there's Mount Meru, that is land that is below the ocean. I don't know what that shape's called. So no, this is as far as I've gotten. But I am struggling with flat earth because it annoys me that that I can't work it out and nobody wants to hear about it. And then I annoy everybody that I know, and it's just too hard. I don't want to be in flat earth anymore if I can't work out what's going on. It's just, I sound like an idiot.
No,
Anyway,
you're not.
that was a moan. Maybe we'll cut that out, that last bit. Sorry about
No,
that.
you know when you're looking at the stars, I have stars doing all sorts of things. Some stars go left to right, some stars go north to south. They're all doing different things, and then the Big Dipper
Well,
goes round my house. So it's
that's
going
what
south
happens.
north, west east, north south, east west. It's going round. It's doing all those things.
That's what happens at the poles, because the stars go, around it in a circle, and they, and if it's a constellation, then it's a shape that you recognize, like the Southern Cross. I didn't realize it went upside down for most of the summer. So most of the year that we can, when it's the highest in the, when it's, the weather's the best to see the thing, it's upside down. And I'd forgotten all about that sort of stuff. So they rotate around in a circle, and I don't have a lot of footage of, like I said, the poles, because it's just not bright. It's too bright here where I am. So I am, but there's the pole. But if I go down to Victoria, 2,000 kilometres down, then the celestial pole comes up higher in the sky, quite a bit higher. So, but yeah, that's about it. So, thank you very much for having me.
That's all you want to say, yeah?
Yep, that's it. I'm pretty much done. I didn't want to make it too long.
Okay then. Well, thank you, Jillian.
Okay.
So basically, we're putting this out for everybody to see, but you'd like hopefully that Dave.
Well, yeah. So, what do you think? What do you think, Dave? Did I do enough to win the Bitcoin?
Oh, Jillian wants to win the Bitcoin.
Well, if I'm going to make everyone hate me, might as well have a
I'm not going to hate you. It's not
basket at the end of the rainbow.
If you take that concept that you are in part of the star legs, everything for South America, South Africa, the Pitcairn and New Zealand is going to be different because you're in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny with all the brain injury, all the language of the brain and space, or whatever you want to call it, they match. And so I like the giant space as a brain theory. So that doesn't even make sense. So
Have you noticed?
I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know.
Have you noticed anything moving in the sky the last couple of years? Have things changed their positions in the sky a little bit?
I haven't really done a lot because my P900 broke. I kind of wore it out, I think, but it was one day after warranty, so they did fix it. But I'm not going to wear it out again. And I did 73 star trails, and nobody was really interested. I mean, I mainly did it just to catalogue it, but I thought that was enough. And so I've got a sun filter now, so I'm onto sunspots. But I broke my arm, my wrist, so and got a new laptop, so I have to get the programs back and poor. So anyway, I'm getting back slowly.
Yeah,
I
it's a
haven't
bit
really
annoying
made
when you
any
start
videos
getting
or
yeah.
yeah, so I haven't been staring at the sky much lately. I mean, I have, but I haven't been making videos because I haven't had the equipment. I've just got a lot of footage.
Yeah, I'd like you to come to my house to see the Big Dipper going round my house.
Because I got stuck with lightning because we had this really full-on lightning year, and it was just the best lightning, and it's really time-consuming to edit it, and then, like I said, I didn't have the programs, so
Yeah, Jillian
yeah.
gets really funny lightning and thunder. It just rumbles on and on and on and
Yeah,
on and on
it's
and on and on, and then another lightning happens, and then it starts all over again.
yeah. Anyway, we better go. We could always have another hangout because this is just
Yeah, about everything else. But anyway, you wanted to send that to DITRH. Okay, then. Thank you very much, Jillian.
okay. Thank you.